Just when it seemed like the battle had balanced out again, like we might stand a chance, an unearthly shriek echoed from out of the labyrinth, a sound that I had heard before. Campy shot into the sky, her bat wings fully extended. She landed on top of Zeus's fist and surveyed the carnage. Her face was filled with evil glee. The mutant animal heads growled at her waist. Snakes hissed and swirled around her legs. In her right hand she held a glittering ball of thread, Adrian's string, but she popped it into a lion's mouth at her waist and drew her curved swords. The blades glowed green with poison. Campy screeched in triumph, and some of the campers screamed. Others tried to run and got trampled by hellhounds or giants. "Die Immortales!" Chiron yelled. He quickly aimed an arrow, but Campy seemed to sense his presence. She took flight with amazing speed, and Chiron's arrow whizzed harmlessly past her head. Tyson untangled himself from the giant whom he'd plummeled into unconsciousness. He ran out at our lines, shouting, "Stand! Do not run from her! Fight!" But then a hellhound leapt on him, and Tyson and the hound went rolling away. Campy landed on the Athena command tent, smashing it flat. I ran after her and found Annabeth by my side, keeping pace, her sword in her hand. "This might be it," she said. "Could be." "Nice fighting with you, Seaweed Brain." "Ditto." Together we leapt into the monster's path. Campy hissed and sliced at us. I dodged, trying to distract her, while Annabeth went in for a strike, but the monster seemed to be able to fight with both hands independently. She blocked Annabeth's sword, and Annabeth had to jump back to avoid a cloud of poison. Just being near the thing was like standing in an acid fog. My eyes burned. My lungs couldn't get enough air. I knew we couldn't stand our ground for more than a few seconds. "Come on!" I shouted. "We need help!" But no help came. Everyone was either down or fighting for their lives or too scared to move forward. 3 of Chiron's arrows sprouted from Campy's chest, but she just roared louder. "Now!" Annabeth said. Together we charged, dodged the monster's slashes, got inside her guard, and almost managed to stab Campy in the chest. But a huge bear's head lashed out from the monster's waist, and we had to stumble backwards to avoid getting bitten. Slam! My eyesight went black. The next thing I knew, Annabeth and I were on the ground. The monster had its forelegs on our chests, holding us down. Hundreds of snakes slithered right above me, hissing like laughter. Campy raised her green-tinged swords, and I knew Annabeth and I were out of options. Then behind me something howled. A wall of darkness slammed into Campy, setting the monster sideways. And Miss O'Leary was standing over us, snarling and snapping at Campy. "Good girl," a familiar voice said. Daedalus was fighting his way out of the labyrinth, slashing down enemies left and right as he made his way towards us. Next to him was someone else, a familiar giant, much taller than the Lastrygonians, with 100 rippling arms, each holding a huge chunk of rock. "Briares!" Tyson cried in wonder. "Hail, little brother!" Briares bellowed. "Stand firm!" And as Miss O'Leary leapt out of the way, the 100-handed one launched a volley of boulders at Campy. The rocks seemed to enlarge as they left Briares' hands. There were so many it looked like half the earth had learned how to fly. Boom! Where Campy had stood a moment before was a mountain of boulders, almost as tall as Zeus's fist. The only sign that the monster had ever existed were 2 green sword points sticking through the cracks. A cheer went up from the campers, but our enemies weren't done yet. One of the Dracana yelled, "Slay them! Kill them all, or Kronos will flay you alive!" Apparently that threat was more terrifying than we were. The giant surged forward in a last desperate attempt. One surprised Chiron with a glancing blow to the back legs, and he stumbled and fell. 6 giants cried in glee and rushed forward. "No!" I screamed, but I was too far away to help. Then it happened. Grover opened his mouth, and the most horrible sound I'd ever heard came out. It was like a bass trumpet magnified 1,000 times, the sound of pure fear. As one, the forces of Kronos dropped their weapons and ran for their lives. The giants trampled the Dracanae, trying to get into the labyrinth first. Telekines and hellhounds and enemy half-bloods scrambled after them. The tunnel rumbled shut and the battle was over. The clearing was quiet except for fires burning in the woods and the cries of the wounded. I helped Annabeth to her feet. We ran to Chiron. "Are you all right?" I asked. He was lying on his side, trying in vain to get up. "How embarrassing," he muttered. "I think I'll be fine. Fortunately, we do not shoot centaurs with broken legs." "You need help," Annabeth said. "I'll get a medic from Apollo's cabin." No, Chiron insisted. "There are more serious injuries to attend to. Go, I'm fine. But Grover, Later we must talk about how you did that. It was amazing, I agreed.